welcome one and all to this week's episode of The Síle Show. We all know at this stage that everything in life is energy and that you can't create a new life while running on the same old energy. Inside each of us, our genes aren't fixed instructions carved in stone. They're more like Christmas tree lights, switching on and off in response to the signals that we send them. That's right, the environment. It's the essence of epigenetics. Your environment, your habits, your thoughts and your emotional patterns are all deciding which genetic switches light up and which stay dark. Not, as you might think, fate, not luck, not even the family line. And because thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body, the way you think and the way you feel becomes your entire state of being. It's becoming the signal that you broadcast. It is actually becoming the instruction that your body follows. So when certain emotional states become familiar, stress, we all know it, worry, overwhelm, resentment, and the rest, the body learns them. It memorizes them. It begins to crave the chemistry of them. So we unconsciously seek situations like the job we think isn't going well, the traffic jam, the bills we think we're struggling to pay, difficult relationships, anything that gives us permission to fire the same old emotional patterns. Because the body, which is a great energy conserving machine, is always trying to return to what it knows. But change, real, lasting, identity level change, requires laying down the emotional signature that you've leaned into all your life to create space for something greater, something truer, something aligned. And that leads us perfectly to the subject of today's conversation. Because if there's someone who's rewritten her energetic script and stepped into a higher frequency with clarity, creativity, and real-world results, it's Anna O'Connor. Anna is a Tipperary dynamo. She's the owner of 2 thriving salons, the voice behind the Gratitude Attitude podcast, building a TikTok shop at the moment, apparently. Got to chat with her about that today. It's already sparking major attention. And in sponsorship talks, I believe, for yet another podcast. She's also the heart behind the Gratitude to Greatness program on Instagram, where she sits down with people who are consciously manifesting their desired outcomes, and she shows her audience that gratitude is definitely not passive. It's powerful. It is a practice, and it's a frequency that attracts. So it's kind of like Anna represents a sweet spot where science meets spirit, where epigenetics meet intention, and where energy becomes action, where shifting your internal state begins to shift your entire external reality. Today's conversation is all about that particular intersection. It's the attractor factor, the chemistry of transformation, and the lived experience of creating a life from the inside out. So settle in, guys, for what's sure to be a high frequency, high energy conversation. Anna O'Connor, the heartiest of Síle Show welcomes to lovely you.
Lovely, lovely. I'm just buzzing after meeting you. The energy is good in the room.
Isn't it phenomenal?
Oh, it's lovely, and the lads are lovely.
What a space.
Yeah, it's fab. I need my own studio like this, Síle.
I know, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Fab.
They literally are your one-stop shop for all your recording needs. They're fabulous.
Yeah, no, the place is great. And there's just a really good vibe here.
There is.
Oh, I get a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to work for you because you are the mistress of vibing.
Oh, God, I don't know. I hope so. I'm hoping you're getting a good vibe as well.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
So tell us, in terms of vibing, let's start with this morning. So you put on your stories this morning that you were having a stressful morning. So the vibe of that, you had to jump out of that and get back up to this lovely vibe that you're in now. So tell us how you do that.
I suppose I try and always look on the bright side. Isn't that it? Like, I run 2 businesses as well. So I have the Gratitude Attitude podcast, then I run 2 businesses, and I have my social media. And most of the time, actually 99% of the time, my life is smooth and great. But of course, if you own a business, and someone listening here that owns a business will know, my only job really is putting out fires. And I had a couple of fires to put out this morning, just things with heating wasn't working, water, things like that. So I was like, I'm just too stressed to come onto my stories to talk. And then I also feel like it's funny because I have like a couple of lanes going on. I'm running a business, and then I'm also like in social media and working in media. I feel I can't come onto my stories and be all buzzing about going on the Síle show and they're freezing down in the salons. So I didn't go on the stories this morning. But yeah, look, to be honest, I'm always like, when I rang the electrician, he said he could come tonight. I'm just so grateful he can come. So I try and just look at the good sides, because if you are actually running a business, I think if you were to think every time there was a fire to be put out, if you got really negative about it, sure, what's the point? That's your only job. That's your main job, really. So there's going to be ups and downs in life, in business, everything. You just have to deal with it. Yeah. So try keep the vibes high if I can at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what is your background to this? Manifesting is your thing at the moment. And you have this beautiful gratitude attitude podcast.
Yeah.
And you record every week, am I right?
Yes.
Showing up, which is
showing up. You know what, Síle? I have had the podcast for almost 2 years, but I've had a couple of little stops and starts with it. And it's nice to take a break, of course, and I've the social media going. I have only truly been consistent the last 3 months. That is hand on heart. I have been consistent. Like, people tell you consistency is so important. Síle, you have no idea the difference. 3 months of being consistent, showing up every day has literally turned around my whole life. So whatever it is you're doing, if you're listening, if you want to turn around your life, or if you want something to work, ask yourself, am I actually being consistent? I know we hear the word consistent all the time. That's something I've really noticed the last few months. Since July, I've shown up every day. I've had my podcast every week. I'm doing the doing, as I always say. And the opportunities are just flowing to me. So when you put in the work, like manifestation, yourself, the law of attraction, action. We often forget about the action bit. We can't just dream about it. And sometimes you do dream about it and it just comes, but most of it is being consistent and taking action. So yeah, it's all really just all happening for me in the last little while.
Oh, I'm delighted, and I can feel that. I can feel it off you. We can feel it on your stories. And so, well, I think from my perspective, I'm probably a fine example of anybody in your growing audience.
Yeah.
And it is that you are always vibing high yourself. Now, that's not to say that all of your stories are high energy stories, but you vibe high in the space. And, people need that. I think this model, this Instagram model, this business that's growing on a daily basis, there is no precedent for it. We don't know. We can't go to college. But I think there are actually courses nowadays. I actually have heard of a course, would you believe, in Belfast. But it is really about showing up and bringing your personality to the space. So you can't be totally prepared for that. You have to be able to just have a little bit of a backstory in knowing how to get up to your higher vibe and then just seeing where it goes. Because I notice with you, you're just showing up and saying whatever comes to mind. Now, you have 10 steps more or less at the end of every podcast, am I right? So you're taking a little bit of a lead from that, but the rest is just flowing
my
in
week.
Yeah,
What's
flowing
happening
in your speech.
Look, truly, I'm just a girl, the same as everybody else listening. And I started the podcast. Obviously, nobody was listening to it. Now it's in the top 5 self-development most weeks. It's doing really well. But I didn't show up for that reason. I'm really grateful that it is, getting motion. But I was just trying to better myself. And I still am just trying to better myself. But I kind of thought, am I the only one in my 30s, single, living in the middle of a small village in Ireland? No matter who's listening or whatever your situation, you're not the only one. You're not on your own. And I think I wanted to create some sort of a community that, like, there's loads of, there's married people with kids. You don't have to be single. You don't have to be married. It's not about that. But we all need a little bit of, God, there's another woman there in her 30s and she's going through stuff and this is what she did when she went through that. So it's only really me. I'm trying things. I'm trying to better myself. I'm doing the Reiki, or I'm, being consistent, and then I'm showing up for my listeners and telling them, well, I did this and this didn't work and then this fell apart, but it's okay because we can look at it in a more positive way. I'm just trying. Yeah. That's all I'm doing. The same as everybody else. Just trying. Yeah.
And the future is human. And people need to listen to the lived experience stories.
Yeah.
They matter.
Yeah.
So on a day, for example, when you're not feeling on top of the world, what do you do? What do you sit down in advance and curate the story you're going to share, or do you really genuinely just pour it in as it is?
Oh, I'm very uncurated online. And to be honest, I think that is, from what I can gather, I think this is the new era of social media. And this is like, I went out in Galway on Saturday night, and I was a bit shocked at the amount of people that I met that knew me from TikTok. And so I was like, what? But they feel they can talk to me not because I'm special, because I'm, we're all special, but like, I'm not special. I'm just being myself. I'm not coming on being like, everything is perfect. Yes, I'm trying to vibe high, but I'll have the crack, or I'll say, Jesus, this happened, or that, I'm not afraid to be myself. Yeah. I think, and because that's what I like watching on social media. No, I never ever curate my stories, or I never curate anything online. Obviously, if I'm in a terrible way, I won't maybe go on my stories, but I will talk about it maybe later and say, look, I was having a bad day, so I didn't come on. But I think the key is, for me, is I am myself, and then that's why I'm actually just leaning into being myself, and it's really helping, and I think it's helping other people. I hope no one compares themselves to me, that they're just happy to be themselves and pour into that. And it's the first time in my life that I really feel I am so happy being me, and I'm just being me, owning it, going online, throwing it up there. And sure, as my father always says, if you throw shit at a wall long enough, it'll eventually stick, and it's starting to stick now, Síle.
Oh, it is indeed. And everybody is enjoying it. And I'm not surprised that when you were in Galway, people were gravitating towards you, because you are very relatable in terms of how you show up, and you've got your music as well. So it's just such an energetic space. Yeah. So tell me about your background in attractor factor material and manifesting, and where did it first dawn on you in your life that it was going to be better to lean into this, and then maybe to share? What dawned on me when I found out about all of this was I was well into my 30s. So I was like, I didn't know about this. And I'm sure there's other people who don't know about this, so I need to tell them. And that's why I started the podcast. Not that I'm an expert. It's just that I didn't know. And I'm like, well, sure, if this helps somebody else by telling them it exists. So I only started, it was during COVID. So I was at home. I was like, it's funny. I was actually listening to your podcast with Deirdre on the way up, and she was talking about rock bottoms. And I have had a rock bottom more. Actually, this year, I might get into that more later. But what I notice is your rock bottom, it doesn't have to be terrible. In case you think it has to all fall apart for it doesn't always. And sometimes, so I wasn't at a rock bottom, but I know I didn't love myself enough. I knew I was waiting for someone to come and save me. I was living in an apartment that I was like, when I get my house, I'll meet a husband, we'll buy a house together. I was working as a dental nurse at the time, and the gigs had gone because I was a full-time singer as well. That had gone because of COVID. And I was like, do you know what? No, you have to go save yourself. No one is coming to save you. Love yourself. And I kind of realised, I think, it wasn't like I wasn't suffering from depression or anything. I feel lucky that I wasn't, but I wasn't really that happy. It was like an in-between. And so if you're listening and you're just in the in-between, you don't have to wait for the rock bottom. You can work your way up from that. So I was lonely, and I was in my 30s, and I was waiting for someone to come and save me, a relationship or whatever it was. And I thought, I watched the movie The Secret on Netflix, and then I read a Jerry Hussey book, few little things, and it all just dawned on me. Oh, there's a thing called self-development. Genuinely, I'd heard of therapy. That was it. And I hadn't even done any therapy. And I was just a normal run-of-the-mill person. But definitely, I know more so now, looking back, I didn't love myself. I didn't respect myself as much as I do now. Because now, the only thing that would shake me now is if something happened in my family, or if something went, wrong in that way. Nothing else can really shake me. If there's a roof over my head, I do love myself, and no one can take that away. Now, I'm not looking for validation from outside to make me feel that way. If you took away TikTok, Instagram, if you took away my anything like that, my businesses, I love myself and I'm okay with that. But I think that's what I realized was I need to work on myself, and I can work on myself. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to follow the law of attraction. And let's see. And I remember even genuinely being
for the crack, I'm going to do it. And we're going to see, does it work? And my mind has been blown in the last 5 years of what you can manifest. Physically, I've manifested everything. So I wrote down a list of everything I wanted to manifest. And I've literally my mind has been blown. Yeah, blown.
Guys, we have had over 500,000 hits in just 2.5 months. We are buzzing and we are so grateful. Now, I'm sure, like me, you know somebody right now who needs to hear what we've just been chatting about. So go on, share it. Consider it like an investment in the emotional bank account in the sky. Keep liking, reviewing, sharing. Let's keep those algorithms rising with us. Remember, subscribing to us is vibing with us. We're manifesting, so jump on, hit subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, surf the moment with us. There's plenty to go around. All you have to do is click that subscribe button, crack open our moment, and make it yours too. It's amazing. Yeah. So you're kind of coming home to yourself. When you fall in love with yourself in that non-egoic way, you're coming home to yourself and you realise that the things around you your house may have no roof. This is an analogy I use regularly. My house has no roof. It's a good place to start, to remember back to times maybe when things weren't so great, when you were looking for that outside-in affirmation and support. But if you can come home to yourself, you're always in a safe space and your house has a roof and you feel sheltered. Yeah. And I love the fact that you decided when you were working on it that you'd get the accountability partnership of the community that you decided to build.
Exactly. And it's more build it with them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because when you teach a thing, you learn it twice.
Yes.
So you're probably reading and exploring and immersing and percolating. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
But really until you share it, you're not probably 100% sure that you're totally bought in. And then you get the affirmation back and it's doubling down on that.
Exactly.
So it's a phenomenal response.
Yeah.
And so then you literally do your gratitude list and you share so carefully. I think it's lovely the way you really genuinely take people with you, because there will be people who won't have seen the book on the shelf or perhaps have the shelf help and they've not made it into the self-help.
Yeah.
But
some people don't like reading. Maybe, and some people, like I tried for a long time to meditate every day. I just don't like it. You can't do everything. And if you can, that is even better. You're going to manifest faster. Yeah. But do what feels right for you. If it's podcasts, then that's fine. You don't have to read every book. If it's, reading and you're not interested in podcasts or whatever it might be, just lean into what feels good for you, I think, is what I've learned as well. Don't beat yourself up if you're not able to do everything. Yeah.
So you're taking, we'll say, all of the books and you're distilling them down and disseminating the information in your words, in your language, and helping people to catch on without, if they're peeling their spuds in their kitchen or out for their walk or, in their hairdressing salon, you might have it on in the background, whatever.
Yes.
And it's giving them the chance to get on this journey of discovery with you, through you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're throwing out the resources as well. You're not saying, because I thought it was lovely the way you shared that you tried Reformer Pilates.
Yeah.
And it's really having a moment. But you said, tried it, might do it again. Not really for me.
Yeah, not everything has to be for you. But I would say try new things. So will I share with you how I started manifesting? Because I feel like it's good for your listeners if they're like, what's she on about? How do I'm a real tell me to do A, B and C and then I will do that. So I'll just tell you what I did. Maybe kind of what I learned as well. I was no expert when I started, still don't claim to be an expert. But my eyes have been opened that you can manifest, right? But I wrote down my life in the future tense. So this is 2020. I wrote down, I can't remember the exact date now, but the 15th of December, 2025. I am 40 years old, but I was only 35 when I wrote it.
Yeah.
And I wrote how my ideal day in the future looked like. And I mean, don't hold back now. So if you want to do this as an exercise, do not hold back. Aim really high, if you like. So I woke up and I was beside my partner and there's a view of the water and I get up and we go for a walk and I have a lovely Range Rover in the, here was me, a part-time dental nurse. I had no job. I wasn't singing because of the pandemic. And, I was fit in this 5 years. I was the fittest I'd ever been. At the time I was vaping and I wasn't going to the gym. And, but I realized, well, if you want to go become all of this, obviously you have to start taking the action, but figure out what your actual ideal day looks like. And the bit I missed in the middle was, how do you feel in that day? the feeling. I forgot to manifest the feeling. And I'm then, if you listen to my podcast, you're with me on this journey, and it's actually hilarious in a way. Not hilarious, I suppose. If you don't laugh, you'd cry, kind of. But I am in the ups and downs, and I manifest the view of the water, and I manifest the Range Rover. And you know what happened? I was so unhappy with these things because I didn't manifest the feeling. I forgot to. So in the podcast, I'm like, okay, so this week I had to sell my Range Rover. But the thing is, I cried more tears in that Range Rover it's like I learned so much. Happiness is inside. Yes. Inner peace is the new Range Rover or what. And I can manifest those things again. And I'm shocked to think that, oh my God, physically, you can actually manifest anything you want. But it's what I've learned from my journey. The main part is the inside. How you feel inside is so important. I've had it all. I have lived my life, and I've had it all over the years. Many, many times physically have had a great life. I've flown around in helicopters. I've drove the nice cars. I've lived in houses by the ocean. And I'm telling you now, I'm in a little apartment in Portrush at the moment. I'm saving up to buy my own house, and you know what? I've never had so much inner peace as I have now. And it is the most important. I wouldn't swap that for any of the lovely physical things. And it's great to have the stories. And I can manifest all that again. And geez, you would know what could happen the weekend. You could end up doing these things again, but it's not about those things. Sure. It's about what's inside.
It's the feeling state.
It's the feeling.
It is the feeling
state. Don't forget.
Yeah. So you put it out there as you desire it to be. Your thoughts are the language of the brain. Your feelings are the language of the body. And when you put it out electrically, that is the electrical signal to bring the magnet of that back into you, magnetize it back to you. You have to feel it like you've already got it.
Yes.
And walk and talk like the Hollywood actor.
I love it.
Walk and talk like the event manager. Literally waking up and practice remember your future. It's the same biological process as remembering your past.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what you're doing. It's
the
fantastic.
Be, the do, and then the become. It's not the other way around, which is, like you said, you're dressing for the woman you want to become. I'm dressing for the woman I want to work in media now. I want to, do more in social media. So I'm not getting up. I even started a little Pinterest board of how do I want to dress. I'm going to brand myself, dress the way I want to feel, because get there first. I used to dress like a businesswoman before I was a businesswoman. Now I'm a businesswoman. I don't bother dressing like a businesswoman because I got there. But I manifested it by acting like it. Amazing. What I thought a businesswoman looked like or dressed like. But that wasn't really truly the way I like to dress, but I just kind of owned it and it worked. It was part of the process of becoming a businesswoman. But now that I am, I'm like, do you know what? I've no insecurity about it now because I actually am a businesswoman. But when you're trying to convince your brain that that's what you're going to manifest, I would recommend the dress like the person you want to become.
Power dress. If you can perceive it, you can receive it. It is literally there to be visualized. And the more you even get the heels on, so you hear the click, imagine the fragrance that you're wearing so that you're getting that beautiful sense, the olfactory bulb involved. See what you're seeing, taste it, touch it, feel it. The closer you can get to it vibrationally, the closer you are to bringing it out of the vortex, into the bank, into your world, into your bed.
Go for a walk around Brown Thomas.
Yes.
It doesn't cost you a cent, but you're getting the vibe. You are, the more expensive vibe.
Indeed. I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and on my way back, I had a little bit of time on my hands and some work to do. And I went into the Louis Vuitton lounge for a coffee. Yeah, just a coffee.
Exactly.
But the experience was just so special. So quiet, such a beautiful ambience, such beautiful service. And no more, well, maybe slightly more expensive than a coffee elsewhere, but the hustle and bustle didn't exist in that space. So it's what you believe in for you is raising your self-esteem. So very often we have confidence high in the sky. And we talk about confidence being important in the manifestor space. But sometimes I think it can nearly be a trip hazard, because if we are overconfident, the gap between our confidence, which is a learnable skill, and our self-esteem might be pretty huge. That's actually a trip hazard. The closer we can keep our self-esteem and our confidence to each other, the closer we are to manifesting.
I know.
So sometimes you have to dial down your confidence.
Yes.
Not because it's not a good idea to be bold and big and brave, but if you're faking it to that extent until you make it, there's a fine line. You actually lose the self-esteem part. Self-esteem is, how do I perceive I'll be received? Do I actually believe that they're going to get this? Am I overdoing the law of attraction here?
Yes.
And I think the Rhonda Byrne part was very appealing in the beginning at that level until people realised, oh, there's no spirit in this. But I think you're a lovely meshing and natural merging of the spirit space with the manifestation space. You have a bigger belief in you.
Yes.
Which is the difference.
I do think leaning into who you are is, once you love yourself, and I mean, it's constant work. I'm probably not 100% there, like, and I'll continue to do my therapy and do my things, but it's about being confident in yourself. Like, really, like what I wear, I'm not worried about what everyone else is wearing. I'm just wearing, because I feel good in something. And if you own it enough, then people are like, you could be... I last year I used to wear, the shiny clear tights. Like, I know this is a silly, but my friends were like, I don't think people are wearing them. No, well, I'm wearing them. Own it. And now everyone's wearing them, not because of me, but it comes around. And sometimes if you just, well, I like that, and I like wearing Converse, or I feel good in that. If you own it enough, if you're not faking it, people just accept you're wearing what you're wearing, you're driving what you're driving. If you are confident in yourself, nothing can really... yourself, you meet somebody and they're, I don't know, someone that maybe is wealthy or has a business, but they're driving an old banger of a car. You nearly have more respect for them because they're not trying to impress anybody. They're just owning it and happy doing their thing. So I think, you're so right. There is definitely, sometimes there can be, like, I was extremely confident years ago. I was in a band, I was going up on stage, but I had low self-esteem. So it's trying to get it into that little, it's like a sweet spot.
It is a sweet spot. It is a sweet spot. And there's an element of nostalgia in it as well, because we have a bittersweet sense of returning home to ourselves all the time. We're wired for it. So if we can, as we go through life and do this self-development work, if we can come home to ourselves, we're accessing that lovely wiring that we have for bittersweet memory, and then bringing the good memories with us into our present to decide what our future self looks like. So it's actually, whilst law of attraction can be quite two-dimensional in some ways, when people don't really understand it, when they listen to your podcast and listen to the real life stories, they get to realise, it is a practice, not a mandate. And if I show up every day, the discipline will take me where I need to go, even on the days that I'm just not feeling it. Yes,
exactly. And I think where self-development for me really comes into play is on the bad days. It's not the good days. We can be all positive. It was, when I've had bad days, then I've the tools. So it's learning the tools when things are good, that you're able to pull them out when things are bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I actually believe as well that we'll have disciplines going on, whether it's our walk every morning, a nice morning routine, make your bed, the Navy SEALs, make your bed, leave your room clean and tidy, maybe know even roughly what you're going to wear the following day, just keeping yourself on top of it. They're good practices, but there will be days that we can't do that. So every now and then in our emotional tool belt, if we can pull out our grit. You don't need it all the time because it's exhausting in terms of the energy that we have to expend to use it. But every now and then, it's your trump card. You pull out your grit to get back to the gym if you've been on holidays and slipped out of the practice.
Discipline is important.
The discipline will follow then. Sometimes the discipline fails you. You think, oh no, you really just can't. You're really not feeling it. So you have a discipline practice, but it's not doing it for you. Pull out your grit. You only need it every now and then. Pull out your grit and the discipline kicks in again. It's like it just needed a wee, the starter button was stuck.
We can't have grit all the time. No, I agree. And I can even tell you in the last few years, when I've pulled out the grit, which now when I pull out the grit, I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm writing my gratitude list. I'm meditating. I'm writing up my list for the day. I'm doing the doing. I'm doing the jobs. I'm showing up. I've it all done by 8 a.m. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing when I have done that, so over the years, I can tell you the 2 times I've done it for about 3 months each time. And each time I've pulled out the grit, as you say, I have leveled up to the next level. And it's like, why can't I just do this all the time? It's very hard to do it all of the time. But I can tell you for sure, each time I've done that, the first time I done it, I opened my first salon. The second time I done it, I started my podcast. Third time I done it, I bought my second salon. It's just, I'm like, I must do that now again to level up to the next level. And it sounds so simple, but it's hard to pull out the grit. But when you do, it levels you up.
Of course it does, because there comes it, particularly if you're so inclined and you're very motivated. Of course, you've got an extra gear, but you're cruising and you've not noticed. So you have to drop a gear to pick up the pace, to get into cruise again.
I love it.
And then fairly soon, you want to drop a gear again to raise it up.
Yeah.
Because I heard you speaking recently about the fact that money is not a dirty word. And I thought this was so important. It's okay to want more. It's okay. People sometimes nearly consider it vulgar to speak about wanting more, but that says more about them than it does about the manifestation space that you're proposing.
Yeah, exactly. I think money isn't good, bad. It's just an energy, isn't it? And I'm totally, and again, because I love myself, I'm not trying to pretend to be rich or poor, or I'm not pretending to be anything. I'm just doing my thing, and I don't have any insecurities around money because I've worked on myself a lot. I feel so grateful for what I do have, for a roof over my head, for a car under my backside. But I do know we can manifest physically anything we want. Sure, why not have a nicer car, or why not have a successful business, and why not? If you want to be rich, you can be rich. It's no problem at all. We can all manifest these things. So it's not something to be ashamed of. And like, I think it is programmed into us a little bit. When we're kids, when we're watching movies, it's always like the rich person is the evil person. It's okay. Like, if you want to be rich, you go get them. Or what rich means to you. Like, we are rich compared to a lot of people in this world. The fact that we're sitting here on a nice couch and we have I have a car, and you probably came in a car today, and we have a roof over our heads, even though it might be only a small apartment I have that I'm renting. That's rich compared to a lot of people in this world. So it depends on so I think we're already rich. Yeah. We really are. And it's just, if you want to manifest more, you can absolutely do that. I will manifest more. But the whole thing for me now is inner peace. Keep that inner peace, very important. Protect
your peace. Don't let anything infiltrate your peace. I agree. That's a good set point. It's an important set point. And when you achieve it, and particularly if it's hard won, and the stuff of life can sometimes take us out of our peace, try as we might.
Yeah.
And so if it's hard won, we protect it like we protect our children.
Yeah.
Because it is our inner child, really. The peace within us is when our inner child is at peace.
Yeah.
And the inner child work that we're doing all the while as we reparent. All of us, as we get older, we're reparenting. We're blessed with lovely parents. We chatted about your parents before we started.
Yeah.
And they have the music, and they have a lovely house on the lake, and they have, you had said in one of your podcasts, they have a lovely house in Lanzarote. They have a lovely life, and you've had this lovely backstory. But they won't have got it perfectly right in terms of the moulding of you into adult you. It becomes your responsibility at a certain stage.
And my son, the same. I only started this self-development 5 years ago, so he was 18 at that stage. So whatever is done is done. I'm always laughing. I was like, you need therapy, definitely, Daddy. But we all do. Like, I wasn't the perfect parent. I still am not the perfect parent. I do my best. And if you could do self-development, I'm sure you're helping your kids as well. They see what you're doing. But yeah, sure, we all need to do the work. The work works, and like, my mother didn't have the perfect upbringing. How was she expected to give me the perfect, and vice versa? Like, it's nobody's fault. I know I'm always joking, like, we blame the parents, but sure, it's just coming down in generations and generations, and it's nobody's fault. Like, nobody's fault.
It isn't. And we're all victims of our parents from that perspective, because parents can only do what they can do with the wisdom and knowledge they have at any given time.
Exactly.
If we get a little bit further down the road, it's thanks to the fact that they stitched a curiosity into us.
Yeah.
Even in sometimes it's in the spaces in between where they don't get it right, that the neuroplasticity of us, so your brain's ability to change in response to experience, will actually lean into getting a little bit better at that thing.
Yeah.
And then if we can, I think, not hold it in evidence against them forever, we stand a greater chance of being that bigger version of our future selves.
Yes, exactly.
And my kids as well, like that. They're 28 and 23. There's no way I got it right.
No.
But insofar as I didn't, there comes a point in time, and I don't think it's linear, I don't think it's age related, I think it's just situational, where it's their responsibility then to reparent. And I welcome them to do that, which is the hilarious part. Other parents might kick against and try and, make a case for themselves. I genuinely don't. I say, you're right. Yeah. I yield. Yeah, got it wrong. Whatever. I know a good therapist. But we've great fun about it. Yeah. But it is true.
Yeah.
We're all just kind of muddling through. And if we can do that in some sense of, I think, conscious incompetence,
yes,
we stand a better chance of getting it right.
Exactly.
It's the unconscious incompetence of our younger years that makes us feel like we're victims and, it's not working out and poor us and everybody else has everything and we've nothing.
I do think your attitude, and that's something I've learned as well, your attitude towards things, your attitude changes your whole life. If you can try and flick onto it's happening for me, instead of it's happening to me. You know, it's fucking happening anyway, so we might as well look at it positively. But like, you're going to have ups and downs. There is nobody listening today that doesn't have ups and downs. So if you're not willing to accept it, and if you're like, poor me, unfortunately, everyone's going to have ups and downs, and you're just hoping that there are not too many downs, and it's trying to look at them the right way and try not to feel like you're always the victim. Because I often say, like, you know, even when I was a dental nurse and I was trying to manifest more, I was so grateful for that job, but knowing there's better to come. So the sweet spot for manifesting for me is be grateful where you are now, knowing there's better to come.
Yeah.
Because if I was in that job being like, oh God, my boss, and like he expects so much of me, and I'm wrecked from this, and I'm only on €14 an hour or whatever, we'll find a problem. If we want to find a problem, there's a problem. I was so grateful to get that job day one. Why would I start looking negatively at it? I accepted the job. So if you're working somewhere and you're unhappy, try and look at it I know it's not easy. You might want to be doing something else, but the key to actually getting to do something else is looking inward at where you are now, looking at the good things that are happening in your job. Even if there's a coffee machine there, I'm grateful for the coffee machine. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. It might sound ridiculous. I'm grateful for the wage that it is bringing, and I'm grateful for what's to come as well. It's all about leaning into where you are now and not having the negative mindset, because you can 100% find negative things about everything. Everything. And if that's what you're putting out, that's what you're getting back. And you're going to just ruin your own day.
Of course you are, because then you won't get along with your colleagues, and your patients will be challenging, or they'll have difficult issues that you won't be able to work with. And of course, whatever you're putting out, you're getting an exact match for that. And that's your PowerPoint. That's it. It's, you know, kryptonite or power. Pick your heart.
Yeah.
You know,
you're
heart. There anyway.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And even the fact that you're going to a job, perhaps if it's a job that you don't like, or that you don't feel is fulfilling, or it isn't paying well enough, if you can possibly get into the mindset of, well, at least I have a structure in my world which is keeping me in the practice and the discipline of getting up at a certain time, putting on my makeup, getting my hair done, getting somewhere on time. These are all life skills. A lot of people don't have these skills. So if we're in a job, we're closer, and we're vibrating closer with knowing what it is to show up for a job and to a job that we maybe haven't manifested yet in essence. But if we're covering the coursework by being in this other job, we're vibrationally closer than we would be if we were having a duvet day.
Exactly. And it's all just a journey. And we have to have all of these jobs to get to the next stage. Or it's just like, I'm on a journey here, you're on a journey. You know what? We never actually get anywhere. It's just, we're on this journey, and it's really just trying to enjoy the day for what it is. Enjoy, I don't know, my son didn't have college today for some reason. I think he's finishing up for Christmas, and he came out and we had a cup of coffee together and a little chat. And I'm so grateful because he's 22 now. God only knows, another 2 years he could be moved out. I will have hopefully manifested my house by then, and maybe he won't come with, who knows?
Yeah.
But for the moment, I'm so grateful for those little chats. It's so simple, really, isn't it? The small things are the real, that is the happiness. It does lie in the small things. And when we're on our deathbeds, we're not going to be saying, oh, that Range Rover was lovely. We're going to say, that time with my son was lovely, or that time, like at the moment, I'm living in an apartment that's connected to my parents' house. So my son can come out of his bedroom. If he goes left, he's going into their house. If he goes right, he's in the apartment. And like, we're all under one roof. Now they're over and back to Lanzarote, so that I don't see them in the winter much. But like, I'm so grateful that we are, because that won't always be the case. I've plenty of friends, their mum isn't alive, or their dad has passed away, or their son has grown up and moved out, or it won't. So if you can look at what you have now, even though I'm not living in my dream home, I'm kind of thinking when I do have my dream home, I'll be looking back at this simple time going, God, I cannot get that time back. I cannot get it back. And yes, I'm sure a fancier house would be lovelier. But to be honest, I'm starting to lean into the moment is brilliant. The moment is brilliant.
The moment is brilliant, but I'm confident that when you have whatever is the house of your dreams, you will bring this piece with you.
Yes.
You're so inclined and invested in this, and inclined to talk about it, feel it, live it up. It will innocuously go with you. It'll be in your pocket wherever you go.
Yes. And that's what we need to realise. It's not when I get to, and this is something I've learned over my time, because again, I wasn't an expert to start off with and don't claim to be one now, but it is all of the if you're thinking, I'll be happy when, then you need to do the inner work, because we have to be happy now. We're going to have our bad days. We're going to have, ups and downs, but the key is to be happy now. Yeah. It is, if you can. And
because it's you against you.
Yes.
And if you're putting obstacles in your own way, well, you're the one that can remove those roadblocks.
Yes.
And you can. And when you do, it's brighter on the far side. And on the other side of fear is love, always. We're always usually afraid of the thing that is the block in the operating system. Yeah. And then when we remove it, we're free again to keep on that trajectory upwards. So tell me this. Have you had in your lifetime experiences that have taken you to where you are now that are very specific? Have you had periods in your life where if you had a do-over, you would do them differently? Or are you genuinely at such a stage of growth and expansion now that the past is behind you and is only of value because it took you to where you're at right now?
I was actually on the phone to a friend of mine on the way up, and even I had a very bad breakup this year. I lost a baby at 15 weeks. I was living in Donegal. I had to move home to Tipperary, and it's still it is hard even to talk about it. But what I would say, I know now that all happened to bring me here, to sitting here today chatting to you, or to spending the morning with my son. I now, even when I was in it, it was like there was two roads. Rationally or consciously, I knew the right things were happening. The universe was actually doing this for me. And I know that might sound mad, but I was in the wrong place, and I was pushing against I just always had a gut feeling it wasn't for me, but I wouldn't listen. And then what do they say? The universe will throw a rock and then it'll send a truck. And I even feel like the baby came and went to show me the path, and I know consciously that has made me who I am now. And this is why even I'm more successful in business at the moment. Things are really, it's funny, the rock bottom is the best foundation, because everything is happening positively for me. And believe it or not, even though I'm upset talking about it, I feel more inner peace now than I've ever felt. And I know that it all happened for a reason. So everything in my life up until this point, and everything in your life up until this point, is meant to happen to bring you to this point. And if you're listening to this podcast, everything that has happened to you is for a reason, and it makes us who we are. And some of those things are hard, and we have loss and grief, but it does make you who you are. It's I suppose how you use that energy then. So if you do hit a rock bottom, I've used that rock bottom to build myself up, and to try, and I didn't appreciate my life as much as I do now before I moved away and before I did all this and had this relationship. And now that I'm back to square one, I kind of feel, oh no, I really appreciate my family, my friends. They showed up for me. They were there for me. I never appreciated my friends that much, or my family. They were amazing. I remember the first weekend I came home and I'd only lost the baby a few days. So my breakup happened within 5 days, and it was just really tough. And I moved home, and then it was the middle of summer. It could have been June or July. And my family, they're into sailing, and my parents were saying, well, we go out in the lake. And all of my family, they all are into sailing. So there was about 4 boats in Mount Shannon, a lovely place in County Clare. We were all on the lake, and it was a sunny evening. And I was so sad. I was just lying in the boat, but they all play music, and they were all just playing music and but I was just sitting in the boat. I couldn't even join them, but I knew I was so lucky to have them. They were just there, and that's all you need is your family. Like your family, you know what? Your family aren't actually great when you're good. Say I have my podcast now, my family would be they wouldn't even be listening to it. They wouldn't even be tuned in that I'm here on the Síle show. They wouldn't. But when the chips are down, that's when your family will be there for you. And I just realised how lucky I was to have all these musical people. It was so healing to have the music, and and I did come out of the cabin and play a song and then get back into the cabin. But it was just, when the chips were down, they were there. And I realised, God, I don't think I ever really appreciated them until I had a bad time, and they were there for me. So yeah, I feel like everything happens for a reason, even the bad things, and they can still be sad, but they can also be a good thing, because they make you who you are. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so sorry you experienced all of that. But I know, listening to you, that you are using that adversity to fuel your future self, your
Yes.
stronger, more resilient future self.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the world now with different eyes,
Yeah.
from a different vantage point.
Exactly. And I wasn't meant for that road. And so the universe had to take me out of that road. It was just not for me. And when I look back now, I didn't even fit in the community I'd moved into. I was never meant to be living in a small town in Donegal. It just was never going to work for me, even though it's beautiful. And I have lovely friends that I made up there now, and I'll take them with me for life. But I feel like, sure, the universe knew that. My friends knew it, my family knew it, but I had to go through it. Sometimes we have to go through it. And I was trying to fit in with people that I didn't fit in with. And, sometimes you have to even realise as well, I think, who you are and be okay with it. I'm not going to vibe with everybody. But what I actually realised, because it was funny, when I moved home from Donegal, I have 3 good friends in Donegal and they're all musicians. And I'm like, oh my God, I really vibe with creative people. I didn't really know that, even though I should have known it because I'm from a creative family. But I lean into that now, and I'm not going to fit in with everybody. It's just not going to, and they're not going to fit in with me. And that is okay. You have a tribe, and it's okay to like bounce around different tribes. But you can't squeeze yourself into someone else's tribe. It's not going to work. So don't force it, don't force it.
Yeah. And I think just the realization of that is the gratitude practice in its essence.
Yeah.
Because then you're grateful for the things that aren't working as much as you're grateful for the things that are.
Yeah.
You realize that when you lose things, sometimes that gives you more than it took from you.
Yes.
It's just a difficult journey to get.
It's a difficult journey, definitely. But I think I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
Not one. I'm grateful for my ex-partner. I'm grateful for everything that happened because it has turned me into who I am. And everyone has their own journey, and I wasn't meant to be in their journey. And I know this, and it's just the way things are meant to happen, and that's the way. And you know what? Most of the time, our subconscious knows these things. We just push past them and no, I'm doing this. But like, I did learn as well that lean into the gut feeling, yourself, but like, sure, we could all, it's so hard to really listen to your gut when on the surface, everything looks perfect,
Well, because optically it is per se what you had on the list,
my God,
these were the 10 points that I wanted. And so optically, perhaps it ticks those boxes, but in the feeling state, and you don't want to give it away. You're resisting.
And that's not their fault. Or that, because I had written down, I want to have great crack with my partner. I want us to really click, and I want a house by the water. We lived on the Atlantic Ocean. Like, I've never seen a house like it in my life. It was actually so scary because I had a screensaver of this bedroom, and there was an ocean outside. And when I had it I can show it to you. I had it for like 2 years. Or 3 years even on my phone. I was like, I'm going to manifest that view. When I moved to this house, it was so strange because that view looked like something in Malibu. You wouldn't think it was Ireland. Whereas actually when I live, Donegal is just so stunning. I literally was like 50 meters from the water with this view that was on my phone. And I was like, my mind is blown that you can actually manifest that. And I did have great crack with my ex-partner. So, I just forgot the other little bits. So be very specific when you're manifesting, because I did get everything that I actually wrote down, but obviously it wasn't for me, So sometimes the universe just shows you, it'll give it to you and say no, but I still had work to do on myself, and I still had to, I'll go get that house myself. It can all be manifested again. And you know what? It's not, I'm much happier now in my little apartment. So it's not all about those things. But yeah, it's interesting. And it's a bit mind-blowing to see that you can manifest all these things. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we are manifesting all the time anyway. It's not even, for anybody listening, it's not, I must start that now on Monday. You are already a manifestor. Whoever
today.
you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, even if you never heard this word before, the good news is you are a manifestor.
Yeah.
You are already on that path.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not you like what you're manifesting. Mm-hmm. That's the part that we're probably here to help people to work with.
Yeah.
And to hone the practice of manifesting probably a little bit more efficaciously. So with a little bit more knowledge, you do your gratitude list. And then you kind of take a metacognitive view and you look down at your gratitude list and you pick it apart with a little bit more knowledge, or maybe when you have a chat with your friends who are also talking the talk, which is great. Mm-hmm. If you can surround yourself with people
so
who are manifesting as well, it is turbocharge.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm doing a series on Instagram called Gratitude to Greatness, where I'm interviewing successful people, whatever success means, different things to everybody. But, a lot of business owners, maybe like I interviewed Danny Mullins. He's a jockey, a well-known jockey. I've interviewed Donald Byrne that owns BRB Homes. He has hundreds of staff, and every single one of them, and they don't look woo-woo, but I asked them, do you believe in manifesting? And they all do. So and that's actually when it dawned on me as well. I remember realizing, oh God, if you look up Richard Branson, they all manifest. And it's like, as they say, the secret, they know the secret. Mm-hmm. The secret is manifesting. And it is, if you want to call it woo-woo, but a lot of it's scientifically proven as well. But it's actually the little, we don't want everyone to know. Well, I do want everyone to know, but it is the little key. And all of the business owners and all of the successful people that I have chatted to all know the secret, and the secret is manifesting. Yeah. And it is gratitude, and it is, success. And you know what success means to most people is really family. And that's what I've learned as well. Being happy and having your family around you, that's all that success really is to most people,
Yeah.
It really is.
I think as well that success leaves a trail. And I think if you have a look at the trail of crumbs behind anybody who is successful, you'll see that they have a freedom about them to be themselves.
Yeah.
And so they're not constrained by limits in terms of not feeling that they're achieving enough, or, being so stuck in their paying of bills with a bad attitude to it that they can't grow and expand and just appreciate where they're at, like you were talking about earlier. When you're free, for example, not in a relationship that doesn't grow you, or in a relationship that does, and so using the collective consciousness, raising that collective consciousness, you are free to show up in optimal you and bring in whatever is good for you, as long as what you're bringing in for you has some benefit for others as well, or certainly doesn't take from others.
Yes.
And I think that's probably where your lovely podcast is going, or your Gratitude to Greatness is going. And I love it because I love it as an idea, as a concept, because it helps us to realise that the Richard Bransons of this world make their deca millions, but they make it because they looked after their staff.
Yes. Yeah. They it's not about take. Yes.
And like you were coming up here today, and you were not going to leave your staff freezing cold. You were going to sort
that out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We have to do these things.
Yes.
Decency is a great word, I think, within the manifestation space.
Yeah, exactly.
Decency, and also realising, and again, hats off to you, because you had a lovely piece on, I can't remember now because I was, in my research, I was dipping in and out of a few of the different podcasts.
Okay.
We were in chats the other day, but you had a lovely piece where you had been chatting with somebody, or you were going to chat with somebody, and you had realised this, she's moving and shaking in my territory. Who is this person?
Yes.
I forget who you said that was.
Yeah, Yvonne Trackian.
Yes.
So she has a podcast, and we're like, I could be number 8 today. She's number 7. And like, we're up and down, and hers is all manifesting as well. And I remember, and I wasn't, so I have my podcast for the last almost 2 years now. And at the time I was living in Donegal, and I remember spotting her and being like, who's this one now coming in on my territory? Because I'm all manifesting. And I was the only one in Ireland, like, really focused on the manifesting. And Yvonne was showing up every day. She was consistent. She was doing videos. Her following was growing and growing. And I was like, first I was a bit like, who's this? And then I realized, hold on now a minute. We are in the manifestation, the law of attraction. We are supposed to, there is actually room for everybody. And I can't be preaching and then not practicing. So I thought, I'm going to reach out to this girl and I'm going to tell her I like her stuff. And I reached out, and myself and Yvonne are great friends. She was only messaging me yesterday. I've met up with her. We have had, we've interviewed each other, but we're helping each other grow.
Yes, of course.
There is room. There's room for 10 more podcasts on manifesting. It doesn't matter. Nobody owns any space anyway, but you do have to recognize when you are, like, I recognized in myself, I was a bit jealous or whatever the word is, and but I wasn't actually being consistent at the time anyway. I wasn't doing the doing. Yvonne was doing the doing. So, of course, you can be, you can start later and be consistent. And again, this is why I'm saying consistency works. Yvonne is absolutely flying it now. She was a solicitor, and she's after giving up her job. She's making a full-time career out of manifesting. So I have to say hats off to Yvonne, and she's great for me. She's always messaging me and, helping me, and I help her. And I'm sure we'll be up and down, passing each other out all the way up, but we're all in this together and it doesn't matter. So yeah, sometimes you have to catch yourself when you see yourself getting, even I can get jealous, or even I can get, but it's trying to use the practices that I speak of instead of going against that. So I will continuously share Yvonne's page. I will meet up with Yvonne. We share each other. We're even talking about doing maybe a day in Dublin that we interview people on the street about manifesting, and why not? The strength in numbers, and you're going nowhere on your own.
Absolutely. And it's like taking your bucket to the sea on the Atlantic Ocean. You were up there at the cliffs in Donegal, and you could go down to the water with your bucket and you can take as much as you like, and there's still some for everybody else to take. They can go with a much bigger canister, take as much as they like.
I love
and
this.
then you might go with a bigger one again and take a bit. Doesn't matter. It's still topping up again because it's not your job.
Yes.
It's an infinite truth. It's much bigger than you.
Much bigger. I love this.
And when somebody is in that space as well, I proffer that perhaps the universe was really playing with you at that time when you saw Yvonne in your space as well. And I proffer that the only reason a jealousy was triggered within you, and jealousy is the right word, by the way, because jealousy is a 3-party thing as opposed to envy, which is a 2-party thing. So jealousy is, I fear I might lose something that I have to you. So it can be something we feel in a relationship if somebody has their head turned by another, and or even their golf or their football. You can be jealous of the time they're spending at another thing that they're not spending with you. Whereas we're wired for envy. That's a 2-part thing. And the reason Mother Nature and Source Energy wired us for envy is so that we reach higher. Envy is a good thing, as long as we're reaching up. So if I see you doing what you're doing, or if you see Yvonne doing what she's doing and you envy it, envy up, you're leveling up. I want to do that too. Oh, let me watch how she's doing it. Success leaves a trail. Whereas if you envy down and you think, oh, I would like that house as well, and I wouldn't mind actually tearing her house down so I could have it. So that's not the best version of ourselves. Jealousy is a whole different space. It's that very transient thing that I think you so rightly expressed, you experienced at the time, because you slightly were afraid, gosh, if she does well, I wonder, will I lose a piece of the pie here to her? And so you did the most wonderful thing. You got in there and that was your grit. You pulled, because your discipline wasn't serving you.
Yes.
You had already fixed the roof when the sun is shining. You had done the work.
Yeah.
But on that day, the rain was pouring in.
Yeah.
So you thought, gosh, what'll I do? My discipline isn't serving me. I'm going to pull out my grit. I don't like it, but I'm going to get in there and fake it till I make it with. And then, oh my God, she's lovely.
Exactly.
But of course she is.
Of course. And there's room for loads of us. Yeah.
And it's all about that.
Yeah.
It's always our own piece of work.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else's work.
No, exactly.
And actually the really good thing is when the universe brings us into these places so we can realise, oh, do you know what? I actually didn't know it all. I actually had that to learn. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think, doesn't Yvonne talk about manifesting? Did she have twins? Am I right?
Yes.
I know the person. I know the, yes. Yeah. Like, wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful story. It's no wonder she has a following unique to her in that space. So if that's, does she talk about that? No, I don't.
Yes, she does. And the funny thing when you say like the universe was playing with me, so that happened. She came into my vibration that I saw her and I reached out to her. And then maybe 2 months later, I had the loss. And then she was reaching out to me all the time because she has lost, I think she's lost 3 babies along the way. So she was able to give me advice and talk to me about it. And so it's amazing. She was there for me, nothing to do with podcasting or anything else. She was just, so maybe she came to me for that reason, you know, to help me at the time, give me a little bit of advice and to kind of, and the amount of people actually that reached out to me that time because they'd gone through it. It's not something people talk about too often, but it was nice for her to do that. So maybe that was the reason she came in to my vibration and now she's in it all the time. You know?
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah,
it was one of the many reasons, you can be sure, because I think the universe tees these things up all the time and we're all one. Yeah. We're all one in actual fact. So I think if we look at source energy and, you know, infinite intelligence as something that really is in place to mind us, it's not in place to trip us up. So all of these things are for a myriad of reasons. Isn't it lovely that she was able to be there for you? And if nothing else, just normalize the pain that you were in because she was in it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely, there are reasons that the heart will never really understand or the brain will never understand on its own. There's
so much subconscious stuff going on. Yeah. We'll never know.
And mindset matters then. What do we do? What mindset do we show up to that with then is what takes us on to the next level. So tell us, what is the next level? So what are you going to do? What's next? What are you manifesting? Tell us, share with the group.
I just want to keep this inner peace that I have. I want to manifest. What am I manifesting now? I want to manifest a career in the media now. So let this be the little moment that I'm like, if we can listen back to this and be like, yeah. So I have just signed with a management agency and I am writing music. And it's funny because everything just comes to you. It's funny, the music I kept leaving behind, but it's in my blood. When something's in your blood, it keeps coming back to you. So I'm writing music now with Colin Gavin in Dublin. He's a brilliant songwriter. And and again, I was saying to you that I made friends in Donegal that were musicians. So I'm actually one of the people I met. They have a recording studio in Galway. So he invited me down to record. It all happens for a reason, doesn't it? And I'm recording music. I am hoping to, like, the podcast will just grow and just the social media. I love it. I love the TikTok. I love all that. I'm made for the media and the stage. I just love it. And I'm going to lean into it now. And it is a hard industry to lean into because what I do notice, especially living in a small town and look, we're Irish. We don't like to see anybody. In a way, it's just in us to stay in your lane now and don't. So, and as Colin, the guy I'm writing music with, he writes with lots of well-known artists. He said, Anna, you stick your head above water, you're going to get slapped. So don't listen. You have to own it. So whatever it is you want to do or become, you need to really not listen. You need to just own it and do it, because people, even I've noticed even in the last while, will try and pull you back, and it's subconscious. They don't even know they're doing it. People that were, maybe if you're leveling up, you will notice people will fall off as well because they're not able for you leveling up if they're not leveling up, or, you know, sometimes that'll happen, but you need to push through. So whatever you're doing, believe in yourself. I had literally, when I was opening my business, I had one friend, she's a dentist, and I was her nurse at one stage, and she went off and opened a dental surgery. And I used to say to her, I believe in you, but I stayed dental nurse, and she came back. She's like, are you going to open a place? She was the one that really pushed me to open my own salon. And I remember my dad, even because it was the pandemic, he was saying, Anna, you're crazy, this won't work. And she kept saying, I believe in you. And she even said, and I love this, that I often say to her, that money probably wasn't even there. She used to say, there's 20 grand there. If you want it, that's there for you, just in case, like, you need a bit to help you get going. And it's just knowing that that was there. I never needed the money, never needed the money. But to know it was there and know that somebody believed in me. And look, I suppose if you don't have someone to believe in you, believe in yourself, because it is... Actually, I didn't believe in myself as much. I let her do the believing, but now I believe in myself, and I do. And if you believe in yourself, you can do anything you want, and you can be anybody, and you can manifest anything, but it is the belief. You have to believe.
I love that piece. I actually think that's the cornerstone piece for this chat, to be honest, because, and the capstone pieces can follow then quite organically, because without self-belief at any given stage, we can't move forward. We're revolving, so we can't evolve. You can't do both. You can't revolve and evolve at the same time. But the most beautiful thing you said is that you can borrow somebody else's belief in you if they're kind enough to offer it, just to get you by. And I think then a message coming out of this could be, who can you offer your belief in them to for the day, or for the week, or for the month, or for the project, or for the year, or for the relationship, or for the aspiration? Who do you know is feeling a little bit low or sad or in a space in between? Those liminal spaces, they're difficult for people when they know they want to go somewhere else or be somewhere else. Who can you show up for and say, borrow my belief in you until your own kicks in? Tell
someone, I believe in you. Because you probably do believe in people that don't believe in themselves. And they don't realise who they are. They're just holding themselves back. And they probably have plenty of people that are trying to keep them held back as well.
Absolutely.
And people do that. They don't mean it. They really don't mean it. And I never hold it against anybody that hasn't believed in me. It's up to me to believe in myself. So I believe in you. If you're listening, I believe in you. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Believe in yourself, because that is the key.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I was blessed in season 1 of this podcast to be sponsored by Elave.
Oh, yes.
And it was fabulous. What a fun. And Joanna Gardner is CEO of the company. And I would say she's a limited edition. She's just a beautiful person. She's on top of her own game, but she's decent and she's kind. And I had done work with her company and absolutely loved it, by the way. had an opportunity to meet a lot of her managing directors, but also other people in her business as well. And she believed in me. She believed in the podcast. She believed in what I had done because I was doing work like this within her company. And she sponsored me. So that belief in me, if I was going to sit around with my idea for much longer, it wasn't going to happen as long as she was in the space. And I know that that will come back, will rain down upon her in good luck and good fortune as she goes on, because her belief in me got me started. I was blessed to work under the umbrella of Aleve for season 1. We're open to sponsors now for season 2, BTW.
Manifesting.
And bring it, bring it on, bring it on. And it's just a lovely marriage of two personality types and dream spaces, because Joanna is well achieved far down the road. She doesn't need the Síle show to grow her, but she believed in me, and her belief in me and the guys here was a great kickstart. And I believe that we have to pay that forward then.
Yes.
So I've been 100%. Doing it so many times. You know what I do as well? And I think it's a lovely manifestation practice. It's where, so if I am lucky enough, for example, I had a tradesman in my house last week, and we had a Velux window, would you believe, that spontaneously combusted. Did you ever hear of such a thing? We're 22 years in our beautiful house.
Probably on a rainy day as well.
Honestly, it was chucking it down.
Oh, God.
We have 11 Velux windows, as it happens, in our house. And there's one over our bed. There are 2 over our dining table. There's 2 in our kitchen. The one that wouldn't be a hazard for somebody to be standing, where somebody mightn't be likely to be standing under, is at the window seat in our kitchen. My son was cooking on the other side of the kitchen where there is a Velux window above the cooker. The one above the window seat just burst 22 years later, randomly. Who knew? So anyway, they rang Velux. They didn't know, would they stand a chance of getting it fixed? But they met with lovely people, and they sent out, and they said, my goodness, when we check back, so they did an audit of the windows. 22 years later, they were able to give the serial numbers of the windows. Gosh, would you believe there was a call back on those? Did you not get that through your builder? So no disrespect to him, it doesn't matter. Things happen that we wouldn't.
Would have been in the post. And
who knows? We're not going to scupper anybody's life. We don't even know where that man is now. But they said, well, what can you do? Oh, they were lovely. They said, we'll send out a repair guy. We have different people on contract throughout the country. Long story short, a lovely guy came out by the name of Gary to fix the window. Actually, all of them, they were all replaced. It all happened. All of them replaced.
You manifest getting all brand new windows.
Right. What did I do? I stood with that. I happened to be at home. I would very rarely be in the house when work would be done on a business day. I happened to be there. I met this man. He was the nicest man. He went the extra mile. There were different things, like the one over our bed in our room. We never had a blind on it because when we put them in all those years ago, we didn't have a little electrical power point. Mm-hmm. And you can't get up to it. It's in a sort of a cathedral ceiling over the bed. So he said, oh, you can get blinds now with Bluetooth. Oh, let me get you one of those. God, FOC. No, free of charge. Let me just do that for you because I can. So I was like, what is... And then I knew, I've clearly paid this forward. So how now can I get out ahead of this again and give this man something back, apart from paying him, splendiferously for his work, which we all have to do. It's the only way we get anywhere in life because people work to live. Mm-hmm. I wrote a review and I've had a message back from the man to say that nobody had ever done that for him before. Oh. And he was made up. And I now know that I've invested in my emotional bank account in the sky all over again.
Yes.
So I suggest that people do that. If you're lucky enough,
pay
it forward. Appraise somebody in the moment if you possibly can, person to person or through an email. Go put yourself to the bother of that. We live in a digital space. It's very easy to bang out an email and throw it in a couple of minutes when you sit back into your car.
That's a great tip.
And I have to say, I would do that all the time. And it comes back. It's like a little rain shower of good luck afterwards. Lovely things always happen. It's raining unicorns and puppy dogs for everybody when you do it. So it's another small thing to keep the manifestation happening, I think.
That's a great tip. Yeah, that'll be going on the Gratitude Attitude podcast this week.
do. How many people can you praise and appraise that maybe might never hear it?
Or be grateful for. Tell them you're grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you text if you have your mum and say, I love you, ma'am, and I'm grateful? You usually ring and giving out about something. You know, tell them you
Yeah.
love them. Tell them you care about
Yeah.
them. Tell them you're grateful for them.
Yeah.
It all makes a difference.
You know what I do as well, Anna, and you were saying your son is 22, my youngest is 23, and one of my kids lives in London, and the other guy, whilst he lives with us, he would spend very little time with us. He's with his girlfriend most of the time. I'm getting over it. I'm sharing him. Irish mammies and their sons. But as a practice in our wee family group, there's only 4 of us and our angelic other, and we, every night, no matter where any of us are, one after the other, like, you know, like the Waltons, night mama, night John boy, we literally text, somebody will start it, it's usually me because I'm first to bed, Ihiwai Handinga, because we speak Irish, so I'll say Ihiwai, and then bang in from the other 3. Now my husband might be down watching telly, and I've just given him a kiss and said goodnight, but I'll pop it into the group
chat.
so wherever we are, because the kids will be off holidaying and they'll be doing their own thing. Again, I think that's a small thing
So small,
and a
but
big
it's
thing.
Big thing. It's massive. Yeah.
Never go to sleep without saying Ihiwai to the people that are really special. And again, it only takes a
Start
second
that tonight.
before you plug your phone in for you know, all the. I know you talk about the protocol of keeping the
Phone out.
phone
Well, I had it
away.
in the bed last night. And it's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? Yeah. I always plug it across the room.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
But just before you do it, again, it's another small thing. And I think that comes back multifold because you've connected. Sure, energy knows no frontiers.
Yeah.
So if you
and
can-
they're the people you are grateful for. Yeah. Yeah. That's lovely that you do that.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
So now, talk to me about music. You are writing songs and you're playing songs because you play on your stories as well, which and fabulous.
I've only started doing that. I'm like, I think I was suppressing the music a little bit. I'm like, no, do you know what? I was trying to be, we're all at this on social media, trying to be fit into the key is to just be yourself really. And I'm like, well, that is me. Sometimes I sit down and I play a song on the guitar. Then sometimes I like fashion. And I'm like, right, I'm just including it all now. Everything. So I've started, and because I'm writing music, I'm like, actually, I can do this. Like, I'm good at this. And, you know, it's again, believing in yourself. I actually think this is a real hot take on again, we were saying we always blame the parents. I love my family. They're great crack, right? But I come from a very musical family. I mean, like my mother is from a pub in Garrykendy that'd be very well known, Larkin's in Garrykendy. My granddad was a very well known fiddle player. We would have the likes of Sharon Shannon, the Dubliners. They would all come down on their weeks off to have sessions. And my mother, so she has 3 sisters and a brother. You either worked behind the bar or you played in the session. So obviously they all learned instruments because they didn't want to be stuck working. They wanted to be out having the crack. So all of my aunts and uncles play music. And then my dad is a musician as well. So my whole family, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, all my nieces, my nephews, all play music. Now my son plays guitar. It is such a big thing in our family. But my hot take on this, they're all extremely talented, right? So say, are you from a musical family?
Not at all.
Right. So if I pulled out the guitar and sang for you, you'd be, wow. Whereas my family would be like, shut up there, we're trying to watch something. They wouldn't, it's not a big deal in our house. And you'd want to be incredible to get, I suppose, the recognition that really you might deserve. So I spent years writing songs and they'd nearly slag you about them. And it's not their fault. They didn't mean it. But I wouldn't even play the guitar until this year, really in front of people, because I didn't feel good enough because the standard in our house is so high. So now I've stopped listening to them. I'm like, I am writing great songs and everybody outside of this family thinks they're great. And they're like, oh, we do think they're great. But, you know, it's just sometimes as you can be a victim of the success of the people around you. It's like if you're acting and all your family are acting, the standards are much higher, which is great. It's pushed me to have a high standard. But actually, it took me till this age, I'm 41, to actually believe in myself. So maybe, and you know what, you can do it at any time. For ages, I was like, you can't bring out an album at 41. You can bring out an album at 72 if you want, whatever. And I'm doing it for the creative side of it now. I'm not doing it for any other reason but to enjoy it. But I do believe in myself now. And I believe that I can write nice music.
You definitely can. I've heard you. And by the way, you make such a valid point. The novelty aspect of somebody in the family who aren't musical producing a song is so much easier for them within their own family to get the appreciation. And of course, what you appreciate appreciates. So it's maybe an easier trajectory for them than it might have previously been for you. But now that you have the impetus behind it.
Yeah.
you're now going to take this to a whole new level. And I actually think when you're working within your right brain capacity, which is your creative side, you are in the attractor factor, whether you are aware of it or not.
Yes, it's helping.
Left brain is the list. So we're good. We do our gratitude list. Right brain is where you feel it. That's where the feels are. So when you're writing your music, dream it up into the song and then sing it, and then sing it louder for the ones in the back, because you're closer in the vibrational space of what you're...
I love, so it's going to help you manifest as well.
Without a doubt. Yeah. But the vibration is higher. The frequency is higher.
Yes.
And very often, even people who are playing music, you know, we were chatting about something else earlier, and we were talking about the fact that the words have to match the music. So if you're in a relationship where somebody is saying, I love you, I told you I love you, you know, the words aren't matching the music. No. Whereas if they say, I love you so much, it's so different.
Yes.
So the words have to match the music in terms of nervous systems syncing. Yeah. And equally, if you're playing music and within it, believing, if you play it from a different vantage point, from that higher frequency of love and self-belief and feeling the success before it even happens, playing like you're playing to a full arena, as opposed to just in your bedroom, looking at yourself in the mirror or on your stories. The more you do that, what you practice makes permanent.
Yes.
And you stitch it in.
I love this.
So it's a given. It's coming. It's coming. Bring it. Yeah. I love that as well. And because I write poetry, and for the same reason, I pour my thoughts and my feelings and the things that I need to leave behind and the things that I'm looking towards are poured into my poetry.
I love it.
And again, that's where I'm in the vibrational vicinity of what I want for future me every time.
I love it. It's a feminine energy, I think, the creating and the being in flow, and it's a good place to manifest from. Yeah.
We have the feminine energy. Guys have it then in their energy because they can access their...
Oh yeah, and I have masculine energy too to run businesses and But it's trying to lean into the flow. And one thing, and it's a hard little place to get to, but when you can get there, so what I've noticed the last little while, everything seems to be coming in really fast. But I got to a stage that I was no longer in the lack with any of it. I stopped thinking, I don't know, I think it was outside influence as well. You have to be so careful. People don't mean it, but there is an outside influence. And it's like, well, why are you doing that on TikTok? Or why are you doing that? Why are you on your story? Well, do it first because you love it. And then, like, no one's going to pay you for playing in a band, for example. Say you want to be a professional musician. You have to put in the work of learning the guitar. No one's paying you to learn the guitar. So as far as I'm concerned now, I'm writing, I'm recording, I'm meeting up with the likes of yourselves. I'm in the build and the rest will come. And if it doesn't, I'm enjoying the build anyway. I'm enjoying my life now for what it is. It's not always in the lack. I need. Because so I have dropped the lack a little bit this year. And I've just come more into the creative side of the media, the social media, the music. And that is the sweet spot that actually it's all coming in now. And yes, you can, be professional on it at anything you want, but it's to appreciate the build as well and be okay with that and just let go. And it'll come once the minute you drop the rope, it'll just flow in. But it's a really hard one because you're telling people to write lists and manifest, but it's also about enjoying the moment and letting it flow in. But I feel like I've got to that lovely little, it's a little sweet spot, as we say.
It's holding space. It's just being able to hold space, not having to rush toward that. I think the hustle, which we need, if we haven't got the hustle, we don't get anywhere. You need your aggressive drive on occasions to get you moving. But then you need to drop back down into generative drive again. Because if you stay in the aggressive drive, it's the catalyst for change, but it isn't the change. It gets you going, but you need to drop down into generative drive again then and just, make your peace. Yeah. If you're hankering, you might be doing the same thing. I mean, I work with a lot of people who are hoping to meet their Mr. Right. And people that come to my practice will be coming for a myriad of reasons, one of which can be, attachment style issues, same guy, different name, same relationship, a different decade. And I have, thankfully, I'm happy to say, great success rate of matching people quite well because I work with values and value systems.
Do you actually match people?
Oh, I actually do. Yeah, this is part of it. Now, how it happened is a little bit like you saying, things happened rather than you teed them up.
Yes.
So I am a practicing psychotherapist. But what has happened quite organically is that on my database, there are people who are coming for various reasons. And over a period of time, I was noticing, oh, there's Anna, and she's doing, and then she comes maybe for a period of time, then she drops off because thankfully we've achieved, and then she comes back for a top up and whatever. So you're in my radar, we stay in touch. I'll be able to say, Anna, your values and your value system are pointing you in the direction of somebody with this type of value system where there's a meaning and purpose meeting point. Or sometimes people get together for different reasons, for optics or for, wealth management or for whatever. And it isn't the thing that will sustain them.
No.
And it's really difficult then to get out of it because you might think, oh, sure, it's just 6 months or it's just a year or it's just a date. But it can be doing damage every time.
Yeah, you get emotionally invested. And heartbreak is hard. I was only thinking that this morning. I'm over the heartbreak now of a breakup, but no matter what, heartbreak is very hard. And I was thinking, I hope I never have to go through that again. But sure, you never know. You don't know. And that's part of life as well. Like we have to go through these things. But yeah, it was one thing I think I had never really gone through a real heartbreak. And I had that this year as well. And it was very hard. So if you are going through that, time as well, it just takes time. But yeah, heartbreak's not easy. But yeah, you can sometimes be heartbroken after like a few dates with somebody. If you invest too much in someone, I've noticed that over the years, sometimes you kind of have somebody in your head that you think they're going to be, and it's all about, again, loving yourself. Because now I wouldn't be falling in love after 3 dates now, but maybe years ago I would have. And you invest a lot in someone and you can get heartbroken very easily. Yeah.
I think the more you fall in love with yourself very genuinely and you're really showing up and doing the work, your attachment style changes.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
So you're more secure in your attachment style. So if you have 3 dates with somebody and it's not going anywhere, you can enjoy the 3 days and then consciously uncouple.
You don't cling on to it. Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's the growth factor.
That. Yeah, definitely.
So it's still going in the right direction.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though you haven't Mr. Right now, eventually Mr. Right. But the Mr. Right now is,
and everybody was Mr. Right on the way, because they were there for they mightn't be there forever. No one's there forever. We come in on our own and we go out on our own at the end. So none of it is, we can look at it negatively, again, like a job, but what's the point? Let's take the good out of it and move on. Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah.
Tell me now, back to the Ceol, you're going to play us a song. What are you going to play for us?
I'm thinking I'll definitely do one I wrote myself. I'm going to do one. Do you know what? I wrote this one about 2 years ago. My partner at the time, he had lost his girlfriend before me. And it was actually a thing, I feel like music is a therapy. So I use it sometimes to write music. So my feelings go into a song. So I'll play that song.
Oh, for her. And you're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
And tell me, what's it called? Tell us a little bit more about it.
It's called The One That Got Away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic. Let me just feed back what I think I heard. You're writing the song.
So I'm in a relationship that he has lost his previous partner.
I understand. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yes. And she passed away.
Oh gosh, right.
I've never met her.
Yes, I understand.
I never met
Sorry,
her,
I misunderstood.
But it was the process of me dealing with that, because obviously that person, they still loved them, but they were taken away. So this is my song about that.
Oh, you're amazing. So you took that feeling, which was...
and put it into a song.
There was a dissonance with it and you put it in a song. Well, there you go again. The creativity, the healing crisis can be really addressed.
Music is a therapy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before you do us the great pleasure of closing out the show, can I just say heartfelt thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
I hope you continue to manifest. May time and dreams expand for you. It's an absolute pleasure to chat with you. And I look forward to continuing, staying in touch, watching all of your socials.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Fáilte ochraí a haiscí.
It's written in the stars, you will never be the same. It's written on your heart, you'll always have that pain. Hold me close and talk to me and tell me all the mysteries and stories about the one that got away. It's written in the stars that we are here to stay. And it's written on your heart that you love me every day. And you say loving me is easy, even with your broken heart. And that you'll cherish me forever, even if the times get hard. So sit with me in memory, I'll hold you close and I'll always be the one to wipe your tears away. Hold me close and talk to me and tell me all the mysteries and stories about the one that got away. When I read the story of that day, well, I prayed that peace would come your way. It's only the good die young, they say. So sit with me in memory, I'll hold you close and I'll always be the one to wipe your tears away. Hold me close and talk to me and tell me all the mysteries and stories about the one that got away. So sit with me in memory, I'll hold you close and I'll always be the one to wipe your tears away. Hold me close and talk to me and tell me all the mysteries and stories about the one that got away. 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 Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And there you have it. A great conversation reminding us that alignment is everything. Anna O'Connor has shown us that we must show up and do the work consistently, consciously, and with integrity. Money is not a dirty word, and there is nothing vulgar about desiring more, as long as the wealth you earn and the abundance that you seek carries an elevated outward purpose while also serving your own growth. As we explored in this interview today, we are not victims of our past, decisions that we made, limits that we worked within, or situations that didn't grow us, whether romantic, familial, social, or professional. None of that need define our present. When we take advantage of metacognition, rising above it all, we can see our past from a higher vantage point, and from there we can take the learnings that we need and consciously shape our present and, of course, our future. This is manifestation at its simplest and yet at its most profound. Journaling, visualizing, and living as if your desired future has already arrived is exactly where it's at. Walking, talking, eating, and sleeping in alignment with that desired version of your future self. And somewhat paradoxically, nostalgia can serve us on this journey of self-discovery. Who knew? The word nostalgia comes from a Greek word, nostos, meaning return home, and algos, meaning pain. So historically, it describes a bittersweet longing, often for moments or times that shaped us, like a subtle reflective sweetness that reminds us of what was and guides us towards what can be. There's no greater time of year to embrace and work with the concept of nostalgia than at Christmas. Memories from this season are often vivid, deeply emotional, and time-stamped into our minds in ways that can guide our reflection, gratitude practice, and also deepen our sense of presence in the moment. So, dear listeners, your task for this week. Over the next 12 days, 12 being a significant number on account of the festive season we find ourselves in, of course, but not exclusively so. Equally efficacious any time of year. from the well-known 12 Days of Christmas to 12-step recovery programs the world over that are trusted vernacular and behaviour-based practice for gentle, mindful reset, refocus, reboot. These 12 days are something that we invite you to engage in and encourage you every day to recall one memory that feels nostalgic, something that feels grounding or joyfully formative. Jot it down. Reflect on it. Sometimes it feels like the stuff of life can almost surgically remove nostalgia and like organs that we could probably manage without it. But the energy that we expend consciously or unconsciously surviving without a sense of belonging to a backstory that we can celebrate, even in small ways, can potentially siphon our capacity to thrive, however innocuously. Memories with emotional arousal dialed down are actually our wisdom. And as you engage with this protocol, just notice what comes up for you. And whatever rises, love that. Feel the feels. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Connecting to magic moments and practicing the art of allowing them to be just that, a fragment of good times, even if couched in chaos when you view the same snapshot through a different lens, has a chemical response. And there's no greater chemical than the neuropharmacology of joy to anchor you in the present while aligning you with the person that you're becoming. This might be just what you need in a given moment to put a stitch into your previously maybe tattered heart. A lovely sense of gladness, not based on, or rather in spite of, circumstance, which sets you up quite nicely for affirming wonderful feeling states for future you. If possible, while you're engaging with this actionable, in quiet time or before sleep, revisit these memories in your mind. Let them inspire gratitude, calm, and even maybe dreamtime connections with loved ones in well-heeled, joyful times. This practice is definitely not limited to Christmas, as we've said. It's a 12-day invitation to consciously align with your future self. To cultivate presence as you give and receive presence, perhaps, but equally as you give and receive the gift of sharing time, energy, and space with others. Practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanent. We've said it before. So engage wisely with your nostalgic journey. Use your wishes wisely. Be careful what you wish for. Over the 12 days, practice stepping into the magic of living fully, grounded in the sweetness of good memories that serve you, and unhooking from stories that no longer serve you, thereby opening your field of consciousness to the abundance of your optimal self in an unfolding life that you love and that loves you back. You're worth it. And so it is.